Hello everyone and welcome to another game you guys requested as soon as it finished. It's from today's Tata Still India Blitz tournament. The Rapid is now over. The Rapid was won by MVL and now we are into the Blitz, and this is the third round of the Blitz section. It's Praggnanandhaa versus Vincent Keymer, and Prag did very well in Blitz. He got third place in Blitz. Vincent got 8th place, but Vincent defeated Prag, in the Rapid. Vincent defeated Prag in the Rapid section, and now is a fine opportunity for Prag to, well, retaliate against Vincent. And this remember, this is a Blitz game, so the game that you will see now is so incredible, so precise, that it's very hard to believe that it was actually played in a Blitz setting. So let's dive straight into it. Prag has the white pieces, and he opens with e4. Vincent goes for pawn to e6, pawn to c6, he goes for the Caro-Kann, d4, d5, and Prag goes for the exchange variation of the Caro-Kann. We have captures, and bishop to d3. c4 is still a bit more popular, but bishop to d3 is the second most popular option. We have knight to f6, knight f3, knight to c6, and c3, adding a defender here. Bishop to g4, and now pawn to h3. We have bishop to h5 and bishop to f4. So this is the main line, nothing new being played here, and they are just blitzing out moves, as both of them know this very well. Bishop to d6, we have bishop captures, queen captures, and both of them just castled here. Castles, and the rook to e1. And this is basically where this setup begins, as black now has any move is an option for black. You could play rook b8, rook c8, rook e8, rook f to c8, you could play a6, you could play knight back to d7, you could play bishop to g6. So those are all ideas, and black can play them in any order to, well, all depends on what black wants to achieve here. So Vincent goes for queen to c7, and now we have pawn to a4. Now there are a couple of games where queen to c2 and queen to b1 were played, but a4 is a new move, so now as of move 13 we have a completely new game. So okay, pawn to a6, and now rook to e3. Already a very nice rook lift, because the rook cannot be contested. The knight cannot reach the rook, and it's on a dark square, so you don't have to worry about the light square bishop. Later on, you might move the knight and put the rook on g3 to go after the black king. Rook 8 to b8, preparing to strike with b5, and now queen to f1. Stopping this for the moment, as now the pawn, bishop, and queen are fighting against pawn to b5. So of course, Vincent's bishop on h5, now that the queen moved from d1, isn't all that useful, so let's remove one of Prag's strongest pieces, and that is the bishop on d3. Okay, Prag trades, we have captures, and now queen to d3. Activating the queen a little bit more. Rook f to c8, you could go b5 right away, but first Vincent wants to improve. Knight to b3, and now knight to d7, stopping knight to c5. We have knight to g5. Now, by playing on the queen side, Prag basically forced Vincent to move his pieces over to the queen side, and now the black king is kind of exposed. So queen to f4, forcing Prag to deal with the undefended knight on g5, and now rook to g3. Pawn to b5 now, and rook to g4, chasing the black queen back. Queen to f5, offering a queen trade, and Prag very elegantly declines this. We have queen to g3, knight to f6 now, attacking the rook, and the rook to f4. Now the queen is attacked, and Vincent moves it to c2, and this is now sort of a problem, because the b2 pawn is hanging, and also knight to h5 is coming with a fork on the queen and the rook. So what does Prag do? Prag just ignores both of the threats, and he plays knight to c5. And now, what do you do here? Do you capture on b2? Do you go after material with knight to h5? Both of those moves are fine, and the engine in fact says that you could play any of these two moves, and your position is very much okay with black, even better. So Vincent goes for knight to h5 with a nice fork here, queen to h4, and he grabs material. Knight captures on f4, queen captures on f4, and now how do you defend against queen captures on f7? Well, you can't really play a rook to f8. You can play rook to c7, as the queen guards at the c7 square, and if you go a rook to f8, then you go queen h4, and the black king does not have the f8 square to escape. So instead, after queen captures on f4, f6 is the move that Vincent has to play. It is the strongest move, and of course he plays it, but that means that he will now have to part with his e6 pawn. So knight g captures on e6, and now b captures on a4, or you could capture with the queen on b2, but this makes more sense as the rook wants to come to b2 to put pressure on the f2 pawn. And now Prag plays knight captures on a4. which is, again, incredibly precise for Blitz. If you, I was even that interested in, in this position that I allowed the engine to crunch the numbers up to depth 50, and it is the absolute best move. The other move that you might play is queen to d6, because why not just checkmate the black king right away? The problem is rook captures some b2, and now you have the f2 pawn undefended, and if rook to f1, now king to h8 is very strong. And now if queen to d7, of course, rook to g8, and you can even give up a piece here. If queen captures on c6, the a3 pawn is just winning for black, so that's a problem. So Pragg plays the absolute best, knight captures on a4, queen to f5, Vincent again offers the queen trade, and now Pragg against, well, declines, but what a way to decline the queen trade. This is, it's very hard to calculate this, and I have problems even, you know, comprehending that Pragg calculated this in a Blitz game. So I'm just going to show it to you. Otherwise, I'd make this a pause the video moment, but you do not calculate this. So I have no idea how Pragg did it, but let's just show it. He played queen to d6, which of course makes sense if it works, but what if it doesn't? Now, even with the absolute best defense by Vincent, let's say rook to e8, goes after the knight, now knight to c7, and again, Pragg is back into the game, attacks the rook, puts pressure on the pawn here, and if rook e2 goes going after the f2 pawn, he will just trade queens. Captures with check, queen captures, knight captures, and okay, Vincent is up the exchange, but Pragg is up 2 pawns, and his position is better. So it's a very passive position to go in for Vincent, especially against 2 knights. You know, in Blitz, 2 knights are basically 3 knights. So Vincent played pawn to g5. This is, again, the second strongest move recommended by the engine, and a, you know, more of a human move because it gives the g6 square to the black queen to defend against checkmate. But now look at what Pragg found. Queen to d7 threatens checkmate, queen to g6, and now look at this. Knight to b6 attacks the rook. You can't really move the rook anywhere. Well, the knight on c6 would be hanging. So the only move for Vincent is queen to f7. And now look at this. Queen captures on f7, king captures, and now knight captures on c8. We have king captures on e6. Okay, Pragg got his material back, but the knight here is stuck on c8. So what's the idea here? Is Pragg just going to be down a knight in this endgame? Nope, Pragg actually found knight to a7. And without finding this knight to a7 move at that moment where he played queen to d6 when Vincent offered a queen trade, I don't see how Pragg would actually commit to queen to d6. So he saw this knight to a7 move at the time that he played queen to d6. Or, you know, you could call it luck, but I wouldn't say that these players rely on luck that much. So I'm going to call it that he calculated it, and now there is no way for black to avoid losing the game. Now the problem is, of course, if you capture, then rook captures on a6 comes with check, and he wins back the knight. And if you move the knight, then just rook captures on a6, and he wins more material. So Vincent had to trade here. Knight captures on a7, rook captures on a6 with check, and now king to f5. We have rook captures on a7, winning back the knight, and now rook captures on b2, rook captures on g7, and now rook to c2, going after the pawn here, and rook to c7. Pragg defends the pawn, and Pragg is now up 2 pawns, but okay, for Vincent, he does have the incredibly active king, so he will probably be able to minimize this to a 1-pawn advantage. So king to e4, rook to e7 check, king to d3, and now rook to e3 with check. For the moment defending, king to c4, and now g3. And this is the problem. And I mean, this game is like a poem. You could actually trade rooks here, even though you're down a pawn, if not for this pawn being on f6. It's that silly. The idea is after rook captures with check and king captures, h4 wins the game for Pragg, as you probably expected. But the problem is after king captures on d4, h5, king to e5, and h6, there is no king f6. Just the pawn being on f6 loses the game for black. So if it was on f5 or on f7, it'd be fine. But if it's on f6, so it doesn't work. You have to waste a move or, you know, go around, and the king is just not in time to reach the pawn. So very, very strange here. I mean, of course, I don't think Pragg calculated all the way to here when he played queen to d6, but still very, very nice. So pawn to f5, Vincent says, all right, I need my pawn to be on f5 in order for my king to win this race. But now Pragg, of course, just gets the extra tempo that he needs. Pawn to h4, and now he's ahead in the race. We have g4, king to g2, and now rook to a2. Again, he cannot trade. We have rook to e5 and now rook to a5 defending, so he can start gobbling up pawns here. Rook captures on f5, king captures on c3, and now rook to f4 defending and attacking. And he was in this position on move 46 that Vincent Keymer resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So Pragg didn't just get his revenge on Vincent, he also is the leader after the first day of the Tata Steel India Blitz after 9 rounds, and he started by winning with 5 out of 5, I think. Yeah, with 5 out of 5. And then, okay, he suffered some losses, and then he won the final game. I think I even have it here. No, sorry, that's for the next video. I'm just going to check it real quickly. So give me a second. Give me a second. I don't want to trick you guys. There we go. Yeah, he started by winning, 5 out of 5. So he defeated Rajabov MVL, Vincent now in round 3. He defeated Abdusattorov in round 4, Hari Krishna in round 5, then a draw against Grishuk. Then he loses 2 games to Vidit and Gukesh, and then he defeats Arjun in round 9. So he is the leader after the first day. The standings being Pragg with 6.5, Vidit with 6, Grishuk with 6. Then we have with 4.5 Arjun, Ergaisi and Gukesh. With 4 MVL and Abdusattorov and Hari Krishna. Keymer in 9th place with 3.5, and Rajabov in last place with 2 points at the moment. So we'll see if Pragg can keep this up until the very end. But if he will be playing like this, and once again, this is Blitz. Like everything you've seen in this game, it's Blitz. If you've seen this in a classical game, you'd probably say, okay, of course it's a masterpiece like this. Is it's classical. You have time. But no, this is Blitz. So incredible stuff by Pragg. We'll see what happens in the rest of the tournament. And the standings that I accidentally showed you now are actually for my next video that I already have planned. And it's a very special one. It's a classical game from 1981 between Garry Kasparov and Tigran Petrosyan. At that time, the former world champion facing the future world champion, and I can tell you guys, it's such an incredible game. You guys really want to see it. I will post it at 9 p.m. Central European time, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I once again really hope you guys enjoyed this. I would like to thank obviousmimic.com, Gerard Princeton, Bonbon, Solon Baby Boo, GursNiChessFestival.org.gg, and Amanda Oliver, the most beautiful girl in the world, for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this wonderful event and everything else that happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.